I want to show you guys my new toy. This guy. It's a moisture meter that I got on Amazon, and I'll link where, or I'll put a link down in the comments, but it has been pretty invaluable already. I've always been suspicious that I'm either overwatering or underwatering, and that's really easy to do in San Diego, either or, honestly. So it's just nice to be able to take a look and go like, hey, I can skip you today. And just gently do that with each and everything. It also saves me a lot of time. But yeah, if that's a thing that you struggle with, I highly recommend getting this little doodad. It's like $10, $15, something like that. But yeah, it's definitely helping me a lot already, and I've only had it for a few days.
Hi, I'm Lily. This is Little Squirrel's Farm.
Good morning. We're gonna do a garden tour. I've been putting it off because I keep thinking like, I need to get everything cleaned up and I need to get everything looking perfect, and that's just, I mean, have you ever tried to clean with 3 kids in the house? It's really like brushing your teeth and eating Oreos at the same time. It's just, so I had to accept that everything's not gonna look perfect, everything's not gonna be weeded, I'm not gonna have time to sweep everything, and then also have time to do a garden tour right after. By the time I get around to it, everything's gonna be all dirty and dusty, and yeah. So I'm gonna do it today. It's a good day. I'm feeling good about today. So welcome if you haven't been here before. This is Little Squirrel's Farm, and I'm Brianna. I am the mom. We are military, amateur, gardening, homesteading, homeschooling. It's a good time, and hopefully you'll get as much joy out of what I'm going to show you as I do. So we're gonna come around here. Let's see what we've got. Wanted to show you, there's a lot. It's been a while, so I'm not sure exactly what all has changed. Oh man, air conditioner. It's gonna be super loud now. Let's go to the other side. So I rearranged here. There used to be some big, like, cheap trellises here, and that wasn't really working. I think I miscalculated how much sun this area was actually going to get. So I took everything that wasn't doing well and I either moved it or pulled it. The trellises were one of them. My beans, I think, got blight, a bacterial blight of some kind. So I pulled those and replanted in some other spots. And it was kind of a bummer, but these things happen. It's always an experiment, and it's always a learning experience. The one lone sunflower is doing okay. I don't know if it'll make it to maturity, but I am optimistic. It's one of the cool dark red ones that I planted, so I hope it makes it to maturity, because I'd very much like to collect the seeds and try again next year, you know? These squishes, which I'm still not sure if they're butternut or if they're spaghetti, are doing extremely well for how recently that I planted them. They're going to start blooming soon, I can tell. And I pulled those seedlings out of the compost bin. They weren't even ones that I planted intentionally. I just opened the worm bin one day and I saw all these sprouts and I was like, oh, I should plant a few of those. I moved some Malabar spinach over here because it's starting to come up all over the yard, which is very exciting and awesome. I'm going to have to figure out if I want to trellis over here or how I'm going to do that, but I've got a little bit of time before they hit their real growing stride, over on this side anyway. And we've got some two corn that made it, and then some little chamomile coming up, so hopefully that makes it. I did end up moving or pulling all of the amaranth. It didn't do well over here. I don't think there was enough sun, or something about the time of day of the sun. I did move the berries over here because I heard that they're fairly tolerant. See, the thing is, this corner actually gets a lot of sun. The problem is right along the fence here, it gets that shadow, so it doesn't get as much sun as I originally thought. So I have to be more careful about what I plant within the shadow of the fence there. Our contest bed is coming up. up, and just so you know, no one's actually entered the contest yet, so you still have a chance to win seeds. So take a look at what's coming up in here. Give me your best guess as to what they all are and what still hasn't sprouted yet, though I'm not sure if it's going to sprout, to be totally honest with you. And if you guess right, then you win seeds. And I'm just gonna let the contest go until somebody wins seeds, because I like buying seeds for people. What can I say? This bed is doing really well, and I'm excited about how I get to actually train these up. I'll be modifying, well, I'll be training this one a little bit more later today. It's growing fast. I'm really happy that my second planting of spaghetti squash did not get eaten by anything. And what I think is really cool that I wanted to show you, and unfortunately none of them are open just now, but so these I can't actually remember the name of the squash that I planted. They're like a really long, unusual variety. I thought for the longest time, because so many of them are, that most squash plants just have those big yellow blossoms. You know, it's hard to tell what kind of squash you have without knowing the ins and outs of the leaf shapes and actually seeing the fruit. But these have like little white flowers, and they're really pretty. You can see one, I posted one on my Instagram yesterday, I think, or the day before, so if you want to take a look at that. But they're just really cute, pretty flowers, and I just thought that was really rad. The Swiss chard is starting to really come up and be harvestable, so I'll be adding that to my smoothies here soon, or my juices. I've started juicing. I resisted it for a while, but to be honest, juice is sometimes easier to get down than smoothies with certain vegetables. Some of the stronger flavored ones, to be sure. So I've got some Malabar coming up here. The tomatoes that I direct sowed are still doing fairly well. They're not growing super fast, but that's okay. Tomatoes sometimes, for me anyway, have taken a long time to get to that start phase, but then once they do, like you can see over here, these ones, yeah, they're starting to get some height on them. It's very exciting. Gonna have to probably spray this bed with something. I'm not sure what yet exactly. I'm taking a look here. I've got some leaf miner issues. You can see them on the calendula. You can see them on the pumpkins over here. The cucumbers, really bad. And they haven't decimated any of my plants, but they keep laying eggs. It's very annoying. And I'm probably going to collect some seeds here from the calendula soon. So I don't actually remember which varieties. I know that the two tomatoes in this bed are the same, and the two in this bed are the same. One of them is Dr. Weish, and one of them is the blueberry cherry tomato. So it's going to be exciting to see which one is which. Like, I think that these are the blueberries, but who knows? We'll find out soon enough. It's an adventure. My baby pumpkin is still there, starting to develop. I'm hoping that it gets nice and big for me so I can have at least one edible pumpkin this year. That would be super cool. This is new. This is a strawberry planter that my husband built for me. Still getting used to it. I'm gonna have to pack it more. It was more difficult to plant than I originally thought it would be. There were a lot of things that I hadn't planned for. Ugh, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon and come back later because the baby's hungry. But yeah, so you can see they look a little bit peaked, but they are getting a lot more sun, so we're getting more growth than we were in the other beds. So win some, lose some. I'm gonna keep modifying it and seeing if I can improve. The one advantage I think is that the drainage is really good. The drawback to that is that I end up with more water requirement over here, the way that this is set up. I need to figure out maybe stuffing it with peat and then thatching it with some more borage might help, because that's what I did. I ended up, the soil just wasn't, like, I couldn't pack it just with soil. It got strange and there wasn't a lot of structure, so I weaved in a lot of borage, just like started ripping it out of the ground and folding it up and putting it in, and that seemed to help sturdy it up a little bit. So I'll probably do more of that, is what I'm thinking. The sweet potatoes are doing well. These are also greens that I need to start harvesting and eating soon, just to see what they're like, and I'll let you know how that goes. I'm very excited about that. And the beans here didn't do so hot. They also caught whatever blight the other ones did, but the parsnips are doing okay. So that's exciting. I'll have a few parsnips. I love parsnips. A friend of mine gifted me some sweet California Wonder bell peppers. And since I lost most of the peppers that I had originally planted to either bugs or damping off, that was really cool. And I've got them in these little mini greenhouse cups for now to protect them until they get some height on them. I also planted in these beds some amaranth, the Hobie Red dye amaranth, but it hasn't come up yet. But hopefully it will. I still have seeds, so if I have to try again, then that's fine. And I've got baby cucumbers, finally. Very excited about that. And do everything in my power to keep these guys alive and kicking. I love cucumbers. I was really upset that I lost so many so early in the season this year. Stupid cucumber beetles. Let's see if we can get some more done today. The pineapples that my mom planted the tops of really started to take off this month. So I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing with them and see what happens. Will they produce fruit? I don't know. We'll find out. My daughter's sunflower is starting to get ready to bloom here. Very cute. This is exactly what I was hoping would happen with it because I was worried about how small the pot is. That is not a dwarf sunflower. That's a full-size sunflower. It's just a bird seed that I gave her and was like, yeah, here, sprout this. And she did, and it's great. And I like that it looks like it's only going to be able to get about that high because of the pot it's in. And then hopefully it'll bloom and look pretty and we won't have a problem. So, yep, that's all I wanted to say about that. Since we got the pergola, this is new. I'm very excited. I've been wanting one of these for a long time because it gets super, super sunny on this porch and it's borderline unusable for most of the day, especially in the middle of the summer. It gets hot, hot, hot here. This pumpkin is doing a lot better with the pergola over the top of it. It still gets a lot of sun in the morning and in the early evening, but it isn't covered in sun the whole day. I know people say that pumpkins can handle all of the sun and there's never too much sun for pumpkins. I don't believe them. I really don't. I don't think that's true for almost any plant here in San Diego. Full sun doesn't necessarily mean full sun here. The ginger's doing really well. No idea when I'm supposed to harvest this, but we'll see. We'll keep track of it. These cayenne peppers that no one is gonna eat, they're doing really well though, so I don't want to pull them out. Peppers grow really slowly, and I'm okay with that. If I can keep that one alive, then I'll have hope to continue to try and grow the sweet bell peppers that I actually do eat, and that my family actually eats. The sage and beet combo is doing really well too. At least I think that's beet. Could be chard. That might actually be chard, because I don't see a thick root there. Yeah, that might be chard. This pumpkin though, I think this pumpkin has a leaf miner. You see how the stem looks all amiss. It's been looking peaked for a while. It hasn't gotten a whole lot of growth on it. It's been quite some time. Now my mother said, and you can see some scarification too on the stem. My mother was like, you could just cut open the stem and try and find a leaf miner and then put dirt on it and see if it'll, keep growing for you. And I could do that. I could. That is true. But this is San Diego. We've got a super long growing season. So what I think I'm going to do instead is yank it and replant and then see if I can extend the harvest of my pumpkins then. So we'll see what happens with that. I put a Malabar up here, because I could, because I don't know if I told you last time, but they're everywhere in the backyard right now and they're starting to take off. I'm gonna see if I can trail this guy up and over the pergola a little bit to make it some tasty edible vegetation. The Strawberry Tower project is not going as well as I'd hoped, but that's okay. Strawberries in general, I know starting them from the bare root can be sort of hit or miss. I did everything that I was told, and I do have a few plants that are doing okay. So I'm just going to keep monitoring it. I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to let this be my one strawberry tower, and I don't know if I'm going to grow strawberries again this way or not. We'll see. We'll see. It's okay. Beets got really big. I harvested one. Got 2 more to go. Echinacea is getting up really well. Something is not right with this potato. I think it's sick, and I'm not really sure how sick. Maybe a virus. But the truth is, I don't need regular potatoes. So I think what I'm gonna do is pull it and replant with something else. Don't know what yet, but something else for sure. Seriously, thank you for bearing with me. I know that this particular garden tour is way more disjointed than the usual, and that's because so is my life. So these poppies, I'm so happy that they grew. This is the first time I've actually been able to get poppies to come up, and aren't they just gorgeous? Like, some of them are going off now, but man, are they pretty. And the gladiolus is maybe too successful because they keep falling over on me. I think maybe I didn't plant them deep enough. Maybe that's why they're not sturdy. Either that or it's just that this is crappy soil. I don't know. Primroses are looking great. Oh, and I think our mystery, whatever it is, I'm not sure what it is yet. I think it's a pumpkin. And I think that's because of that guy. I'm not sure what kind of pumpkin. I'm guessing a Halloween pumpkin, because that's the only thing that I can think would grow right here, because this is where my neighbor had her Halloween pumpkins last year, and I'm thinking that one just like maybe rotted there, or that they chucked some seeds there, or either way, it's very exciting. Wait to see what happens with it. These guys are definitely the Big Maxes that I planted from my friend's seeds that were getting a bit moldy. And you can see they're starting to throw out some tendrils here. They're starting to get some flowers ready. Oh, and yeah, the sage right next to it just smells amazing. It's probably why the leaves aren't showing too much insect damage. Although I think I've got some leaf miners on my okra here. So that's kind of disheartening. What is eating you? What is it? Might have to come around with some BT. And the blue sage is blooming. Blue sage always looks and smells really great when it blooms. The jasmine was looking really nice, although now it seems to, I don't know, I think it's upset with me for not having trellised it yet, which is valid. I've been trying to find the time and the means to trellis it for a while over this fence here, and I just can't make my brain work to figure it out. Like, I have a lot of ideas, and then I go to execute them, and then I just stand here and I stare at it and I go, I don't think that's gonna work the way that I wanted it to. Sunflowers are doing real well. All things considered, they're definitely doing better than the first round that I planted. That seems to be the theme for this year, is plant more than one planting, because the first round of cucumbers succumbed to cucumber bugs, and then there was a lot of things that the first rounds of ground cover that I planted for certain areas of the garden, edible or not edible, the gophers got to it, and just a lot of things that didn't pan out the first time, but if I persevere, they're doing a lot better. One of those, a perfect example, are the tomatoes that I've got going right now. So my tomatoes are finally looking like actual tomato plants. They made it. They survived past the initial stage of horribleness with the damping off. I still had a few succumb to damping off, but I was very, very watchful, and I think that helped. And there's a few that I'm doing an experiment with, because if you see, I think I talked about it briefly, how the watermelon is huge here, but the watermelon that I planted at the exact same time is still pretty small, and it's not growing very fast yet, and I think it's because I planted this one with pole beans. So I'm gonna try and stick some pole beans in the ground with the tomatoes Just one or two, you know, I don't want to crowd them. And just to see how it affects, or if it affects their growth at all. Whether it stunts them, whether it supports them. Because beans and peas, the wonderful thing that they do is they fix nitrogen into the soil. So they tend to benefit being companion planted with feeders like melons and tomatoes and pretty much everything you can think of that bears a fruit of any size or substantial flavor. So it's an experiment. We'll see what happens. So I yanked the peas finally. They weren't going to produce anymore. And I've got some beans coming up here that I planted just because I want more bean plants. Trying to figure out exactly how many I need to like feed the family, you know. I don't have a whole lot of space here, but I'm trying to utilize it properly. We've got the Malabars here. They're not taken off, but they're still alive. So I think they just haven't quite hit their stride yet. Malabar, like a lot of things, tends to sort of be small and squat for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it just explodes. And I'll show you how it explodes because there's a few exploding in other parts of the yard. There's some, oh, what are you? I think this is either Jericho lettuce or silver beet. I cannot remember which, but I know that I planted it because it was a heat-tolerant lettuce variety and I'd like some more greens. Here's the oregano bed. I say the oregano bed because it's really hard to get anything else to grow in here because of how big the oregano is. Glad I planted it in a bed, you know, and not just in the ground. So we don't use that much oregano. I have some lemon cucumbers coming up here along with my Malabar. Let's thin this guy out real quick. So we'll see how they do. And I think I planted some over here too, but I can't see if they're coming up or not. I don't think they are. I either planted beans or lemon cucumbers over here. Can't remember which. But we've got some bergamot. That's what I planted over here. Bergamot coming up. The Malabar's doing okay. Got a mystery tomato over here. Looks like the mystery tomato has some spots. So might need to pay some more attention to mystery tomato. I really would like to come around in the next couple of days and mulch all of these little fabric pots, see if I can help them retain a little bit of moisture, keep the sun off them a bit. I don't know if they need it, but I mean, it's gonna get hot. It's gonna get really hot. We haven't even seen it's not really summer here yet. We've got one bean coming up, so we'll see how that affects the growth rate for this watermelon. Honestly, if I could get away with it, I would probably plant beans with everything, because why not? And they just look pretty, you know? Lots of green. Not enough green here in San Diego sometimes, so I get green where I can. These, and the ones over on the other side of the yard, are like doing better than anything else in the garden. Yes, dear?
Can I have dessert?
I'm doing a garden tour. You want to let me finish? Or
No!
you want to do it?
I want to do it.
You want to do it? Okay.
Hey, we have roses. I want to see a bee. I'm gonna let them see the front yard.
I already did.
Well,
I already did the front yard.
I'm gonna let them watch it with an alive lizard. Hello everyone, and this is me, Violet. The grass! There's nothing in the grass! The wall! There's nothing in the wall! And this is the sky! There's nothing in the sky! There's nothing anywhere. Nothing. Nothing. This is the concrete. There's nothing in the concrete. I'm gonna let them check out the rabbits.
Oh, okay.
Let's zoom in on the bunnies. Zoom in. Maybe zoom out. Zoom in. Zoom out. Zoom in. Zoom out. That's better. And this is Clover. Duh and Daisy. The bunnies. Our fluffy bunnies. Our adorable, fluffy little bunnies. And they have a den. Here you go. Hi, my name is Clover. My name is Daisy. I'm Sunflower. Let's take a closer look at Clover. Hello, Clover. I'm looking into your eyeball. And that's Clover's fur. There's nothing in Clover's fur. Hello, Clover. I'm looking into your eyeball. I'm so sorry. It's a video with us. I'm sorry, Clover. Just need to take a video. I'm done making.
The last thing I'm going to show you before I go is the Malabar spinach. You can see how it's just, yeah, it's going for it. This is the one dedicated Malabar spinach bed that I have, but it also, this is all reseeding from last year. I haven't planted any this year. And you can see how, like, all along the bottom too, we've just got Malabar climbing up. So this whole section is just going to be exploding Malabar spinach. And then we also have it coming up in random spots, you know, all over the place, really. There's one over there, and there's one over by the flower bed. So the big challenge right now is I'm trying to figure out more places to plant beans and more places to plant spaghetti squash, because I really want some more spaghetti squash plants. So if you guys have any ideas, just like looking at all of the stuff, where you think spaghetti squash would do quite well, then hey, drop me a comment or hit me up in the Facebook group. Yes, dear.
I'm gonna cut some mint.
Some mint? A bee? Where? Oh, is he on the other flower?
Yep.
Oh, I see him. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, we should probably leave him alone.
I need to get mint.
What is that? Oh! Whoa, hey guy.
That is really nice.
What are you getting mint for?
Nothing. No reason.
No reason? Oh, it smells nice. Don't get too much now.
I want to make mint. Can we? What does must mint taste like?
You've had it in minty peas before. What do you think it tastes like?
I want some minty peas today.
Today?
And I'll cut the mint.
We can make them tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
I feel like the scissors are next.
Do you want to help me sign off?
Look at the size of this.
Do you want to help me sign off, Violet?
Just sign off.
sign off is when you say, thanks for watching, everybody. Click to subscribe, hit like, come join us on the Facebook group, and you say goodbye. You don't want to?
Freedom! I meant freedom!
Okay. This is Brianna from Little Squirrels Farm signing off, saying you should subscribe. And it's also Violet. Painting with water. Hit subscribe, leave a comment, drop a like, all of the things. And
believe in unicorns forever!
believe in unicorns forever. We'll see you next time.